You guys, watch this. 2 years. 2 years. Running freaking water. What? Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Ben and Brady Build a Bus here on the Remote Ramblers channel. The clip you just saw, I'm a bit ashamed to admit, was filmed just a week and a half ago. 2 weeks ago.
And for context, we've been living in the bus behind us for over 2 years at this point.
Yeah, going without water and plumbing for 2 years was quite literally never the plan.
No, sounds awful, and it was hard.
It was hard, but we made it work. I guess let's give you a bit of recap of how we sort of ended up living in the bus for 2.5 years without water. And we were building, if you watch some of our earlier build videos, in Northern Illinois, which was great. We had a safe place to build. We were living with Ben's family. The hard part about building in Northern Illinois is that winter lasts for so dang long. So we started the bus in summer and we knocked out the demolition, the
subfloor, and a lot of the structural foundational stuff. In the winter, there's no point to do it because A, you can't, it's too freaking cold, and then B, we didn't want our plumbing to be installed and then freeze immediately upon installing it. So that is a bit of background about why it has taken so long, because then once we got back to the summer, we're like, oh, let's do all these other projects, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
Fast forward, we hit the road, and how do you make it work, right? Like, water is essential to life, we know that. So there are a few tips and tricks we've learned along the way, and we're gonna share them with you today. So that way, if you find yourself in a position, whether it's because of finances or lack of knowledge or whatever, trying to live in a vehicle without plumbing, how you can make it work.
When you're living off grid and you don't have any water tanks, the goal is to maximize the scant water that you have. How do you do that when you're trying to wash your hands? Well, first off, buy hand sanitizer. This stuff is gold. We use it all the time. We still use it even to just try and conserve our water in our freshwater tanks in the bus. And so good to have around no matter where you are in life. Secondly, if you need a sink and running water to actually wash dishes, wash your hands, whatever, use one of these guys. And it is a collapsible folding sink that we got off of Amazon. It has a little drain right here that you can use and take out to drain the water from this basin. Pretty great. It folds down to nothing. Perfect for tiny home living. And the water source, we have this little jug also off Amazon. That'll be a theme. And it has a little ball valve here. You can open it up. Water pours out. It is a ready-made sink in a little jug. Next up, we have water storage. If you don't have a dedicated large capacity holding tank, then what you have to use is a different mishmash conglomeration of jugs. So we got 5-gallon jugs. We got, I think this is a 2-gallon jug with the little ball valve on it to make it into a faucet. Jugs are your friend, and these are great for a number of reasons. Super adaptable. You can use them for drinking water, shower water, any of the plugs that you have for a outdoor shower system, you can stick right down into here to draw the water out. The other thing I'd recommend is replacing the stock plastic caps that come with these 5-gallon jugs for something like this.
For our drinking water, we use this little handy contraption, and it's so useful. Essentially, you have this like straw tube with a little filter that goes on here. It just sits on top of your 5-gallon, is USB rechargeable, and water comes out. So this is what we use for our drinking water specifically. Next up is how do we stay clean? And this system has sort of evolved as we have changed our living situation. So for a while, we were living on different family and friends' properties, so we had access to a regular shower. When we were traveling full-time, we got a Planet Fitness membership. But there are times when we don't have access to a shower, which is totally okay because we have some really great solutions. The first and easiest is the sun shower bag. If you've been hiking, camping in the outdoor community at all, you will have seen these. These are so cheap. They're great because they don't require any power input. You fill them with water, you leave them in the sun, and you get a hot shower at the end of the day. Cons of this, it's not powered. So you get the trickle that comes out of the bag. That's it. Yeah, it's basic. It gets the job done, but for long-term usage, this is not your best option. The next thing we upgraded to is this handy system. Now this, I actually like really, really love. It's a really basic pump system and it's rechargeable. So you don't need like an external power source all the time because it has batteries. The system comes with 2 rechargeable batteries and it comes with a like high powered press faucet, which is great for doing dishes. Another great thing about this is that when you pop this attachment off, you can put a shower head on. Really and truly, if you are looking for an easy, low power consumption water option that is cheap, I would do this. I would do this system over the solar shower. It works better. You feel cleaner. It's like the happy middle ground of everything. If you want hot water, you do have to heat that elsewhere. So I would like heat up water in our water kettle or boil water and add it to our bucket. This is a system that does not have like an on-demand heating function. It just is a pump, but it truly, great middle ground. And this Mama Jamma is our most upgraded system yet. This is the Jula Hot Tap on-demand hot water system, and we really like it. As you can see, there is much more setup. There's much more involved with it. You need a lot of bits and bobs, but everything you're seeing outside of our provided water jug and the propane tank is
and
one
the power source.
And the power source is one system. So with this, you do need a power source, you do need propane, and then you need to be able to provide water in some way. You can do that in a jug, you could do it in a stream. They actually make this cool attachment for the intake filter where you can put it into a river or a creek or whatever, but you just need some sort of water source. And then the water is powered by an external power source. So we use this very tiny rock solar, how many watts is it?
Solar generator is probably like 125 watts maximum. I forget the amp hourage, but it's small.
It's really small. Can also power this like off of the cigarette lighter in our car. You know, there's lots of ways to do it, but it doesn't require a lot of power, just a little bit.
And what drives the water from the jug is this blue water pump up here. And so you plug it in one side, you power it with this little power station or the cigarette lighter on your car, and then
goes from your water source through your pump into the hot water heater. And the hot water heater, when there's water forced in there, automatically pulls propane to ignite and then heat up your water. The cool thing about this system is that the carrying case it comes in, which all of the bits and bobs pack down into, also becomes a sink. You saw all the things we were doing to be able to wash our dishes before. There's a switch where you can switch it on and switch it off, which helps you conserve water. And then this is the shower head. You can connect them one at a time. So if you just want to shower, you can just connect the shower. If you just want the sink, you can just connect that. Or you can jointly connect them and have them going at the same time. You can. Even though we have water now, we still use this. So we love this pump. It is actually so incredibly handy because we like to stay in a spot for around 2 weeks, but at 65 gallons, we don't quite have enough. So what we do to sort of combat that, another way that we store water, is a massive bladder. So we have a 65-gallon water bladder that stays in our car. And then we can use that to like go out with a car and fill up and bring it back to wherever the bus is. That way the bus doesn't have to move, but we still get the water that we need. And what's cool about the pump is that we can connect it and pump the water from the bladder into the bus. So this system, now that we have running water, isn't getting as much use, but it's still very useful.
Yeah, and the outdoor shower experience using this guy is very pleasant. The water pressure is great, and you can adjust both the water pressure and the temperature settings on the front here with these two dials.
The pros and the cons to this system as opposed to the other systems we've already showed you. Pros, you have on-demand hot water. The pressure is incredible. The downside is it's expensive. It is the most expensive option by far. And it's a lot to set up. You can't pop it up in 2 seconds, right? Like you have to set everything up and it takes a second to do. But if you were looking for a solution that sort of covers all of your bases, the Julka could be that for you. I will say too that Julka has started making a hot tub, an outdoor hot tub.
Plugs into this system.
Powered by this system, and it may or may not be on every shopping list I have out there in the world. So if you're looking for a gift for my birthday or Christmas, I want that hot tub.
We hope you found this video useful. It has been a lifesaver for us to have all these different resources while we've been sorting out our water issues in the bus. And that being said, we do have running water in the bus behind us. So if you'd like to see how we did that and have a real step-by-step how-to, make sure to join us next week.
We're going to do our best to show you an in-depth walkthrough.
Specifically what we used, what fittings and stuff that we used, and if we don't mention something in that video, be sure to leave us a comment or send us a message and we'll be happy to explain everything.
See you guys next week.